Ryan, I appreciate you taking the time to sit down with me and talk a little bit before the Auto Film Growth Conference. I think we're 13 or 12 days away. And when the idea of the Auto Film Growth Conference came to our minds, you were one of the first people. I mean, you're at the top of the list. We had to talk with you about it. And for those of you who don't know who Ryan is, he's the owner of Protective Film Solutions, the largest paint protection film shop in the country. I mean, five-time Dealer of the Year award winning. We just had a conversation a little while ago about your celebrity clientele. I mean, it's so exclusive. I can't even mention it on camera. So let me ask you a question. I got a couple questions prepared for you.
Sure.
What is your keynote centered around? Like, what's the focus of your keynote for this year's Auto Film Growth Conference?
Well, I mean, I'm kind of looking at kind of educating, other business owners, maybe the manager level. Pretty much anything I talk to isn't going to be targeted towards installer level. So I'm not going to teach you tips and tricks on how to install. For one, I would give you really bad tips and tricks right now. It's been too long. Um, it would be more of operations at a different level. So if it's for your managers, how do they manage their employees? For the business owner, just making sure that you guys understand as you grow, or if you stay the same size, there's different laws you need to make sure that you're complying with. You have workers' comp, do you have unemployment? Do you have offer health insurance? Uh, are you paying your guys cash under the table? There's different pitfalls, and we know everyone tries to do what they can to make a little extra money here and there. And so people start cutting corners in business.
Mhm.
And, the old saying, pay now or pay later. Paying now and doing it right versus the paying it later with fines and penalties is not much fun. And I've seen that happen to a lot of people in our industry. And it's scary and sad because you tell them, hey, don't do that. It's not what you're supposed to be doing. And they're like, I got it. I got it. Don't worry about it. And then you hear the horror stories later. They're like, yeah, I should have listened. I got a huge IRS audit and I owe like $20,000 in fines. So we're just trying to, growth. When is it time for you to grow? When do you feel there's things to add an employee? There's a lot of things as you grow. It gets to be a very scary, murky waters. Is a lot of sharks out there that want to eat you. So when you make a mistake, they'll come get you.
I mean, those are massive points. I'm excited to hear about it. I've had the privilege of talking a little bit about you and helping you get situated with, the speaker lineup. And one
Hmm.
of the things that I wanted to ask you, I hope it's okay. What is that one thing that you can share with us now in this quick little interview before the growth conference?
I mean, as you go through business is the best thing I always like to tell people is just know it's not going to be easy. You're going to get your teeth kicked in. You're going to make mistakes. And some of those mistakes just may be kind of, ooh, I shouldn't have done that. And some of them are going to be some heavy fun mistakes. Um, but just know it's going to happen. If you think you're smarter than everyone else, you're going to get your ass kicked. Take advice from, I guess the best way, take advice from the right people. The old saying, if you
All right.
surround yourself by you surround yourself by a bunch of people that, do drugs, you're going to probably start doing drugs. You do this and you do that. Whoever you surround yourself is kind of the direction you're going to go in. So when you start asking advice or listening to people, make sure you're listening to the right person. If you're asking a person as, should I expand or should I get a new location? And you're asking somebody that might just be an owner operator, and it's
Right.
just that person doing it. You're asking the wrong person. Ask somebody, not even in your industry, but ask somebody that has multiple employees and maybe has a shop. Maybe not even be what you're doing. It might be just an oil shop or a tuning shop. Ask them, what are the pitfalls as you grew? They'll tell you. Be surprised. Most people are like, I don't want to tell them, I don't want to ask them a question. They'll give me a bullshit answer to throw me off. It's not true. Most people that have gone through it, if you ask them, they actually, I don't know, it's almost inside of them. They want to help you. They want to tell you, oh my God, don't do this. This is what I
Right.
did wrong. And it's that way. I have shop owners, local shop owners. I have shop owners all around the world that have called me and asked me questions. And they started off, they're like, "Hey, I don't want to bother you. I don't want to take up your time." And as you know, I mean, people have called me and stopped into the shop, and I make time. I don't care if you're the shop that's 3 miles from me. I've got shop owners that I'm friends with that are direct competitors with me. And you know,
I think,
friends, maybe some of the word friends might be a little too loose. They might be just colleagues, but we play nice together in the same sandbox.
yep.
Uh, but that's the best. You start shit talking another shop, it's gonna come back.
This
So
might
play nice.
come back to bite you. But no, you definitely have that reputation for welcoming people into your shop with an open arms. I had someone call me that I know pretty well. They were in LA. They said, "Hey, you think I can stop by Ryan's shop?" I was like, "Go, stop by. Maybe call ahead of time, call the shop, ask if Ryan's there." And I remember he called me afterwards. It was Victor. You know Victor, in
Yeah, yeah,
Florida?
yeah,
Yeah, and he
yeah.
is so blown away. He goes, "Oh my God!" He was there. He was so welcoming. So hopefully you don't get bombarded and have a line of people at your door after this. But anyways,
It's
I
okay. I like it. Actually fun. I like hearing where people are in their as they're climbing the stairs. I mean, it's kind of find out where are you at? Are you new to the industry? How far are you in? Is it just you? Is it someone else? I actually probably ask them as many questions as they ask me.
oh, I believe it. Oh, big time.
Hmm.
That curiosity,
Hmm.
right? You said something that I want to touch on for a second. It's learning from somebody else. Like, how important, in your opinion, is learning from somebody who's ahead of you in business or ahead of you in where you want to be? Maybe 10 years your senior. What's your take on that?
Hands down, 100% the most important thing. Listen to those that are more successful than you. You know, speaking from, some of our clients that we have and some of these, our own billion-dollar companies, and they've started them. And, I have a lot of these that we've become friends, and I use them as mentors.
Mhm.
And I have no problem if, as we expanded the business, I would always reach out and say, "Hey, I'm starting to get to this size. When I crossed over that 25,000 square foot threshold,
Mhm.
now you get to kind of go, that's a lot to pay every month. The first day of the month and flick the light switch on, you're like, oh, here's this big check. So I start asking people about that. And, if I'm going to add an employee or if I'm adding someone to do something specific, um, you kind of start digging into it, saying, you know, what if I add this person or what if I add this job? Can I keep them busy? I'll actually call another shop owner that may be in my industry. I was like, hey, do you have this type of, position? Yes, yeah, I know I've got that in a position. Is it worth it? Should I do the same thing? Should I split up, one person into a two-person position? So you always have to ask,
Right.
otherwise, guess what? Most of those people that are more successful, they own bigger shops, they have more employees. Guess what? They've made more mistakes. For one, they may have been in it twice, if not three times as long as you, or sometimes maybe 2 decades longer than them. But I've made a ton of mistakes. I'm going to tell you what to watch out for. If you choose to watch out for those pitfalls, that's up to you. But I'm going to at least let you know that they're there. Be careful and just navigate it safely. So, but yeah, you absolutely have to listen to other people.
Yeah, I couldn't agree anymore. That's really one of the major mindsets of Autofund Mastery. That's why we came out with the Autofund Growth Conference. I mean, it's hard for a shop owner or a business owner in any endeavor that's just getting started. Maybe they're in their first year. It's hard to get access to some of the best in the industry, some of the best in the country, let alone know who they are, right? So Autofund Mastery, we've really try to make a platform where the best of the best can come together and give back to the industry and make that information readily available because it helps all of us. It helps the whole industry
Hmm.
grow. But I'm curious to hear this too. What are your thoughts about the Autism Growth Conference? We've had a talk. I mean, we've announced that we officially have over 100 people who are going to be attending, and this is a big conference at Resort World. It's the newest resort in Las Vegas. It's all been put together in a little over 2 months. I would say about 3 months. So, what are your thoughts? Like, what are you expecting? What are your thoughts
I
on?
mean, I think it's, how would you say it? I mean, I don't want to call it, all the keywords or the hot words out there, the masterminds and stuff like that. These, BS get-togethers.
Right.
This is actual people in our industries. It's not one. It's not just for PPF. It's not just for one brand. It's not just in this. It's not just for those in California or those in Texas. You guys have at least given an opportunity for, like what you just said. other shop owners or people that are in our diverse industry a place to come together and kind of be open, you know, ask questions. And it may not be the speakers that are speaking at the event. It may be the person sitting next to you in the chair, you know. Sometimes people ask me questions on things, and I'm like, I'm in California. This is a screwed up state, you know. Don't ask me on some things, you know. Be like, hey, where are you located? Oh, I'm in Texas. You know what? Reach out to this guy in Texas. He's in Texas. He understands your demographic much better than I do. Check with them. They have different laws than California. I'll at least help point them in the right direction. And I met a couple of those people at different conferences, just standing there talking to somebody and they're waiting, they tap you on the shoulder and they go, I just need to pick your brain for 5 minutes. And this allows you, basically, you're serving up all those brains to be picked on a silver platter. So
I
it
love
makes
that.
it very easy for people to talk. And if anybody walks away from this going, it was a waste of time, it was a waste of money, you didn't ask the right questions. And you probably were on your phone the whole time when people were up there talking, and you weren't talking to the people standing around you during breaks. You're there. It's here for you to use. It's a 1 day get together. If you subscribe, you better be there when it opens, and you should stay there till it ends, and probably hang around afterwards, because that's a lot of times afterwards, that's where some of the best conversations come.
Truthfully, oh yeah, big time. Go find someone that's maybe just a little bit ahead of you, right? That's in the crowd with you.
Yep.
Go have dinner that
Yep.
night with them. That's good. I love that.
Yeah. 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 Pick their brain.
Listen, Ryan, again, I appreciate it. I don't want to take up too much of your Wednesday. I know it's a busy day for you, but I'm excited to hang out with you. I'm excited to spend some time with you again. And I'm really excited to see what you're going to bring to Audible Mastery this year.
No,
So,
me too. It'll be exciting.